Okay, remember that they're changing my voice. And I've caught these people changing the still image on the screen, so I'm going to have to make this in several videos. But in this video, we'll talk about Science Magazine. Okay, so it was posted like 6 years ago, and as they say, the government stays 20 years ahead in technology and of the public, ahead of the public in technology. So what they allow to be released is old news to them, and the video is from over 6 years ago. So it's at least 26 years or so behind. So if they can read the brain right now, and they could have read the brain 6 years ago, can they remotely put thoughts in your head, hack your brain, cause you to say things you don't mean to, cause you to bow or stick your head up, or cause you to like somebody you don't want to like for their kind of corporate eugenics? Yes. And that is very much going on right now. And I have witnesses, and there's many people who have testified that these things are going on. And if we look at the types of people they are, we can tell that a lot of them work for the government, and they're trying to control the movement. I do believe that this Dr. Robert Duncan that I'm going to talk about in the next video is somebody who works for the government, and he's trying to control the solution side of things, if you will, right? Because the problem of brain hacking, well, how do you solve it? Well, there's all kinds of stupid solutions people have. One is people join cults and social clubs and other ridiculous things like this. They get on board with the devil to try to avoid being, brain hacked by the devil, because they don't love God enough and their family enough to do what's right. And so you see in this video, it goes without saying, so I'm going to keep it short. It goes without saying that it is delusional to argue that the government can't hack your brain remotely. It is extremely delusional. So they can blow up pagers and cell phones remotely by triggering the lithium battery, targeting in some shape or form. Okay? They've been fuming people, they've been gang stalking people using various technologies, but you think that magically they can't hack the brain remotely? That's insane. I mean, you see how it's a racist country. I mean, that part is clear. Look at how they portray black people, the Black Lives Matter, the shootings of black people. Look at all the things they're doing to people of color, especially black people. It's like the Klan, the special emphasis on black people. When you think of neo-Nazis, you think of they don't like Jews, they don't like gays, but there's a special emphasis on black people. Like the movie Higher Learning is about black people clashing with neo-Nazis. American History X. So we see this recurring theme. Black people, they're targeting them. Kamala Harris running for president proves my point whether she wins or not. They have a certain natural grace for authority, and the white man is, as they say, the white man, the so-called white man, is consumed with his desire, right? The governing class, what have you, for manifest destiny, expansionism, nation building, what have you. There's all kinds of philosophies, right? The white savior complex, whatever you want to call it, okay, that have to do with, philosophies and complexes that have to do with him trying to keep the black man down so he can pretend that he's superior to everyone. Now, again, I'm not racist, but I think that when we're kids, if we have any sense, we know that black people expelled the other races in combat, which involved a large degree of intelligence and strategy when things were fair, when the battlefield was level. Okay, so the groups that would become the other races, they didn't have that natural grace for authority. Natural, keyword natural. Not artificial construct, not concrete jungle, not white man's concrete jungle, but natural. Now again, I'm not racist. These are the facts here. If you don't understand what I just said, then you are very much out of touch with reality. It's not just there in the history, it's there in our understanding of people today. Who did what and why? Who, what, when, where, how, why? And this has everything to do with the brain hacking, because there's this huge movement to try to make whites, Jews, and LGBT people seem superior, and they also are Satanists. They want you to see through it to some degree, and then they want to laugh at you and mock you and sexually abuse you and your children, your families, when you go along with it anyway. That's how propaganda works. They don't expect you to believe politicians and everything they say. They expect you to pretend they're right at times, or to come into some culture that they have there for you to control you. And you see people doing this across the board except for me. And that is, I've proven my point clearly. Again, I'm not a racist. Some of you might say, well, what does this have to do with brain hacking? Because you're racist that try to uphold white supremacy. And anytime someone talks about the deeper implications of something that exposes white supremacy, you try to narrow it to the topic because you don't think like a human being or better. You think like an inhuman person that tries to cheat people for racial supremacy. And that's fucking cowardly as hell. So one application of brain hacking is to try to do things in a way, mass brain hacking with the fumes and the substances that are conducive for brain hacking, right? That allow them to hack the brain and try to make some people as groups and individuals seem smarter than others. It's that simple. And of course, they use the concrete jungle scale, what have you. Now, there's also pre-existing technology that, they had since I was young, or probably before I was born, like the MRI, right? The magnetic resonance imaging. It also proves my point. And what is the purpose of the MRI? They scan your brain and they try to understand your brain activity. They've had that forever and ever and ever.